It's going to be an interesting Eastern Conference.
And it's going to be interesting to see what LeBron James does, because you talk about the shift of power in the Eastern Conference. This could be a potential one domino and a significant domino to fall, and can make these conversations, for us having to revisit them. Now, LeBron James left the Lakers. Lee, before we even talk about which team LeBron James should go to, and I have a feeling I know where you're going there anyway, but before we even get there, let's talk about LeBron James splitting with the Lakers. What is your take on that? And what is your take on LeBron James' Lakers legacy? The mic is yours.
Yeah, I'll go with his Laker legacy. People, for whatever reason, never really truly embraced LeBron as a Laker. For whatever reason, right? Maybe because of all the winning he's done.
Kareem.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Every person that has come there after a great superstar, because the Lakers have always had superstars, right? They've embraced them. They embraced Shaq as a Laker. They embraced Kobe as a Laker. They embraced Magic as a Laker when they had Kareem. But for some reason, they don't want to embrace LeBron. LeBron had a great 8 years in Los Angeles. He brought them back. The Lakers had missed the playoffs 4 or 5 straight seasons before LeBron got there. So this notion that he is and is not a great Laker, that's ridiculous. He was a great Laker. He everything that he did, he won them a championship. And think about it, LeBron has won a championship with every team he's been on. He's won a championship with every team he's been on. But for whatever reason, they never embraced him as a Laker. But I tell you what, you can't.
I got a reason for that. I actually do got a legitimate reason for that.
What do you think that is, Leo?
For me, and this is my opinion. Hey, welcome to the Real Lil Show. And that's what we do. We give opinions. I believe the problem with LeBron James' career is that when you look at a guy like Kobe, who was a Laker, clearly embraced not only by the Lakers, but by the whole league. He was drafted by the Lakers. You look at Magic. Yeah, he's a Laker, homegrown in LA. Even though I don't believe Kareem was drafted by the Lakers, but he ended up he was drafted by the Lakers, or
he was drafted by Milwaukee, but he was
drafted by Milwaukee. That's what I thought, and then he became a Laker.
Yeah.
But he still at the end of the day, LeBron James has went to so many places. Whether it was Cleveland, we always going to look at LeBron James as a Cleveland Cavalier. And that's where he should have been drafted and retired. But then he burst the balance of power, and what should have been history, he altered it with his decision to go to Miami. And that's why I believe that he's not embraced in LA, because he had about 3 acts trying to create another act. And we just look at him as a Cleveland Cavalier.
Yeah, and I get that. And there is some of that to it. And I agree with you on that. Let me say this. Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul, was not embraced while he was living the way he's embraced post.
That's typical stuff, though.
Okay?
When people die,
So I get that. So we sometimes, and Kobe did play his entire career with the Lakers, but prior to Kobe's death, he was not considered the all-time greatest Laker. That was Magic Johnson. That was Kareem. That was a debate between those two. We throw that out there. I just want to get that in. LeBron, the thing about it is he's always going to be viewed as a Cavalier, right? He got his championships in Miami, right? But Cleveland is where he cut his teeth, and he came back, and like Ray Blackwell saying, the king and the prince, the Cleveland. He's always going to be considered.
That Cleveland chip means more than the 2 that he got in Miami. So
absolutely,
when you think about it from that perspective, that answers your question, because it's not only about winning a championship, right? It's about the story behind it.
Absolutely,
right? And there's a clear story to tell in the one that he won with Cleveland.
Let me say this, Bill.
To Miami.
If it wasn't in the bubble, they would have embraced it more, right?
That's another factor.
In LA would have embraced the championship more if it wasn't in the bubble. That's another factor in how he's viewed, because he was in the bubble. And since then, they haven't really done, but they advanced to these Western Conference Finals once. But what LeBron did for the Lakers, right? What they've done, he's not appreciated. He brought them back to relevancy, and so I think his stint at the Lakers has been great. I think he's going to get a statue with the Lakers. There's no doubt about that for what he's done and what he represented. But no, they'll never appreciate LeBron the way they appreciate Kobe or Kareem or Magic or even Shaq for that matter, right? Shaq is like a cult hero with the Lakers because he was the most dominant person for his time at the Lakers that in the league at that time. So and LeBron has had a great career. So I get kind of when people dismiss him or they're happy LeBron is gone. Be careful what you wish for, LA Laker fans. Be very careful because what you're putting out there next year, that's not going to get it. That's not going to get it at all. You talking about what you are and happy that LeBron is gone. And I'm not calling them trash. I'm just comparing them to what else is in the West and the lack of defense that they're going to play. The Lakers are going to have to outscore everybody every game, and that's just not going to happen next year. But getting back to LeBron, yeah, I don't like the disrespect that Laker fans have shown LeBron James in his tenure at the Lakers, Leo.
Well, I think LeBron James' case is a little bit more polarizing than what it seems, right? Obviously, he delivered the championship in a bubble. Again, he did brought the Lakers back to relevancy. You do give him credit for those accomplishments as well. Obviously, broke records while on the Lakers for things that he did outside the Lakers, obviously, because, you know, it had to accumulate for him to break those records throughout his career. But at the same time, there was the other elements, the complaining during the press conferences about the team, the trading, the going behind closed doors and banging on the table for Russell Westbrook and to make that trade happen. And then obviously it blows up in your face. And granted, one of the reasons why they didn't get back to that point of winning another championship was because of that move, because of that decision, because they parted ways with Kadavius Pope and some of those in Kuzma, guys that actually helped them in the bubble. They were the underlying heroes in the bubble, especially Caldwell Pope. And they got worse because of that trade. They went all in. LeBron James obviously coerced them to do it, and it blew up in their face. And Russell Westbrook came out and talked about LeBron James and his dislike for LeBron James, thought he was fake and whatnot. LeBron James is a polarizing player. No matter, you're going to hate him or you're going to like him. You're going to respect the basketball acumen, but you're also going to see him as this, person that's pretty much PR. And, again, when it comes to fake people, Lee, I just have that ick about people. But LeBron James,
I don't think he's fake, though, Leo. I don't think LeBron's a fake player. I think LeBron.
What I mean by fake, I mean that he puts on a PR campaign. For example, when he brings and Russell Westbrook talked about it, when he brings books to the press conference that he hasn't read, and I seen a video where he had a book at the press conference, right? As if he was reading it. It was like a Malcolm X book or something like that. You would have thought he was Malcolm X. And a reporter asked him, "Oh, what did you learn in that book?" And he couldn't even tell him one thing, couldn't even tell him a chapter in the book. So again, it's PR. So a lot of people don't like that. But I will say this, Lee, when it comes to this Lakers split, the Lakers should have traded LeBron James a year ago because LeBron James clearly had a lot of power in the franchise and it didn't help the Lakers. Again, the Russell Westbrook trade, again, drafting Bronny James, who clearly, was not a good basketball player. And y'all wanted to debate me like a chicken without a neck to make me believe that it was justifiable when clearly it's not. The development is not there at all.
Leo, so most second round players, and I have this debate with people all the time. You name me one second round draft pick that went to the team.
He was drafted because his father.
It didn't take 3 years for them to get to the NBA.
His father's name was LeBron James. That's the reason why he's on the roster.
It doesn't matter about his father. It matters about the development of a kid who it takes. If you're a most second round draft picks, Leo, there are some exceptions, but most of them teeter in the G League for 2 to 3 years before they're
the same reason why Giannis' real brother, is on the Bucks right now is because his brother name is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Otherwise, he will be slinging DVDs out of a caravan right now.
The
All right?
Lakers
The
didn't
same
have to
reason.
keep Bronny.
Now, they just gave Bronny an extension, and LeBron James waited. And look, I don't even disagree with that. As a father, I don't disagree with that. Let me be clear here. So from LeBron James' perspective, I don't even disagree. I think any father that's a good father would wait till his son get paid to make a decision. But from the Lakers' perspective, obviously,
the Lakers were going to pick up Bronny's contract, irregardless of whether they had LeBron there or not.
But they waited for him to get a guaranteed deal. Guaranteed is a different.
Well, all it did was just guaranteed this year the rest of his contract.
Yeah, but it's still
they were going to pick it up anyway. But they were going to do that. They think Bronny has potential. I do too. To be honest with you.
Okay, well, we'll see about that. But nevertheless, this is why I have an issue with Lee, and this is the real thing. This LeBron James saga to me is dragging on too long, and it needs to end. First, it was a decision, which we know going back to, what was it, 2010, 2011, the decision when he went to Miami to form the super team. You had that. Then he went back to Cleveland, obviously delivered them a championship. He gets hailed as a hero, as he should, because he delivered that team a championship coming back from 3-1. To me, his best playoff moment right there. Then he went back to LA, and we thinking that he's going to ride out in LA. And then the end goal becomes, okay, I'm going to wait for Bronny to be drafted, and I'm going to play with my son, and that's going to be the end of the story. And now we have another one where we riding off into the sunset to play with Steph, or we going back to Cleveland for a third time, or we going back to Miami for a second time. I am done. I am cooked. I am fatigued with this LeBron James situation here. Just end it. Just end it, bruh. Okay?
Why, Leo?
Just end it.
Why?
Because it's annoying. How many places are you going to go, bro? How many places are you going to go? I'm going to speak the truth here on this show and how I feel. Because at the end of the day, the reason why, like you said, he is not accepted as a Laker is because he's been damn around the world, bro. And now he about to go to another situation because he, and Lee, this is the problem here. This is why players like James Harden, players like Kevin Durant, team hop, because they are not fulfilled, because they've done it so many times that when things get rough or they don't get their way, they can do it again. It's almost like and excuse my language here, but I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, I don't have no chill. You know, the real Lil don't got no chill. It's like a drag queen that slept with many men. She's never settled into a marriage happily because she's been with so many men. It's the same thing when it comes to team hoppers. And LeBron James has created that culture of team hoppers. And instead of LeBron James do actually better for the league by participating in the dunk contest, everybody's following his lead because he is the best player in the NBA at one point, the face of the league at one point. And to me, I'm just like, yo, retire in LA, bro. Come on, bro. How many nowadays are we gonna go with?
Leo, that's my thing. He's still averaging 21 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. He don't need to retire because he's still playing at a high level. Look.
I'm not saying retire, Lee. I'm just saying, how many teams are you going to go to? How many teams? That's why you're not accepted nowhere as far as, legacy.
Well, that's why he needs to go back to Cleveland. I think the perfect story is for him to go back to Cleveland.
Then why leave Cleveland the first time or the second time? The second time.
Well, he left Cleveland the second time because of various reasons. He wanted to build his production empire out in LA. There's a lot of reasons. Look, Leo. He's a superstar athlete, and for 12 to 14 teams inquiring about LeBron James, that still means he's relevant in the NBA. So come on, man. What do you want him to do? He still can play. He still can play at a high level. Forget the Lakers. The Lakers are not equipped to win right now. They weren't equipped to win with Luka. When the Lakers traded Anthony Davis, it set the Lakers back. People don't want to say that. They got Luka and they thought, oh, yeah. Luka hadn't done anything for the Lakers in the 2 years that he's been there. Nothing. Missed all of the playoffs last year. Missed games the first year he was there. What has Luka Doncic actually done for the Los Angeles Lakers? Nothing to this point. So you can miss me with all that. LeBron, still the star. And He wants to win another championship, Lil. That's his ultimate goal. He's going to try to figure out where he needs
I
to go.
just
Now, it's
honestly,
not
I
Golden
just can't
State.
fix myself to say this dude is the GOAT when he done went to different teams and played with great players. To me, that's
Well,
not the mentality that I
yeah,
like. I
he's
don't
not
like
the
this
GOAT.
buddy mentality. All right, I like competing. I like you saying, you know what? You may have beat me last year, but I'm gonna beat you this year. And
Yeah,
what we have in the NBA right now, and the reason why, and look, the NBA it had a great ending. The playoffs were great. So I
yeah, it
just
was
want to be
good.
clear about that.
Yeah, yeah.
The regular season, no. The reason why we are there in that point with the regular season, no, is because there's no rivalries.
Regular
Everybody
season
want
is
to play
about money.
together.
The NBA
Everybody
regular
want to play
season is about
together.
money. That's
And
what that
LeBron
is.
James started that. He did.
Well, the
Because the
NBA,
last great rivalry was when LeBron James, right at the time LeBron James went to Miami to beat Boston in the big three over there. That was the last great rivalry. Maybe Steph and the Warriors in Cleveland. Maybe, yeah, sure. That was a rivalry.
that's certainly if Kyrie had stayed in Cleveland and KD, that would have been a rivalry for ages to come because they would have still been playing each other in the finals, but it didn't happen. But no, LeBron is not the GOAT. We don't have to get into that, but LeBron is a top 5 player of all time, and he deserves the right to go out any way he wants to, Lil. This is the thing about LeBron James that people just don't want to accept. The man has a tremendous basketball IQ. He's cerebral. He's a great talent. And the man is a bona fide winner. And people don't like that. They don't like how he carries himself sometimes. So be it. But he is a great, great, great leader. And you know that by the fact that all of these teams are lining up to solicit his services to try to
clearly the guy is good at basketball, elite, and I
so,
think anybody with brains know that LeBron James is still operating at a level where he can impact the game today. That's not the question here. The question, and that's the thing about it, when you criticize an action of somebody, people think you don't like him or you don't respect his basketball acumen. I respect LeBron James' basketball acumen. You're going to see which team that I'm going to pick that he should go on. And that's going to be a sign of respect from a basketball perspective, because you're going to see that team and you're going to be like, Lil, really? You just was clowning LeBron James just now? No, I'm clowning the behavior of team hopping and creating these endless stories. Before it was, I want to play with my son and then I'm going to retire. Oh, I'm going to go out to LA into the sunset. Now, come on, bro. I'm fatigued.
He never said he was going to retire, Lil, at any point. He did say he wanted to play with his son, but he never said he was going to retire. Look.
But anyway, and I would say this. Lee, let's transition into who we think LeBron James and which team we think LeBron James should go on. Because I think what we can agree on is that teams should be lining up to sign Bron, especially if he's willing to take the veteran minimum.
Absolutely.
Everybody should be on the court.
Absolutely. Look, if it was me, Lil, if it was me and I was LeBron James, I would sign with the San Antonio Spurs. That's what I would sign with. I would go be that leader for the Spurs to get them over the hump. I would play with Wemby. I can lessen my minutes in the regular season. I can coast the regular season. And in the playoffs, I can be the king and lead San Antonio to the championship. That is absolutely the best place to play for him. Stay as far away from Golden State as you possibly can. The greatest story would be going back to Cleveland, because I do think if he goes back to Cleveland, what a great story it would be. And he would get that farewell tour that he's looking for. And he would make Cleveland a much, much better team. But if you're asking me the perfect fit for him, is signing with San Antonio and leading that young team who we know mentally is not ready to be NBA champions. And they haven't made any moves in the offseason to get them. Besides, I think they're hiring Billy Donovan. I think Billy Donovan as a lead assistant, because Mitch Johnson, hell, he should be fired if you ask me. But I would sign LeBron James. I would go after him. I would put him on there, and they would win the championship if they got LeBron. The Spurs would. I don't like Golden State at all.
Me either.
Don't give me that. You got a bunch of old guys who.
That's the Brooklyn Nets of a couple years ago with Joe Johnson, Darren Williams, and Kevin Garnett and KG. That
Absolutely.
reminds me of.
The nostalgia will be great, but that's not to happen. But I do think he's going to sign with Golden State for some reason. But I would love the fact if he goes back to Cleveland. The best fit for me, again, San Antonio, he needs to go back to Cleveland for all the things that we talked about. Stay away from Golden State.
I like how you have a need and a fit. I'm going to do the same thing that you did. Now I'm going to respond to King Mook. All right, listen, I'm King Tut, you King Mook. Okay. Now, listen, King Mook, I appreciate your comments and your feedback. You know, keep it coming. But listen, Miami formed the super team. So forget about records. All right, Miami, they formed the super team in Miami. When he went back to Cleveland after he left Miami, they had Kyrie Irving, they had Kevin Love, right? And I believe they was going to draft. They had the number 1 pick, which they traded for Kevin Love, rather, right? So it was going to be Wiggins, and they flexed that pick for Kevin Love. And LeBron James
at the time, Love was a dog, man. Love
he was. Yeah, so clearly, LeBron James, the eye for talent that he does have, and the need to want to play with talent, he saw Kyrie Irving stepping up. He saw Kevin Love being a very good player. Yeah, Kevin Love was very good at that time, and he went over there, and it was enough to get him back. And then the Lakers may have not been a very good situation when he got there initially, but he knew that it was LA and players were going to want to play with him, and he made that Anthony Davis trade happen. So LeBron James always had a plan. Let's not make it seem like he went to a franchise and just transformed it. Miami had equity. Miami won a lot. All right, let's add more context in the record of the teams when he went on them. Just want to make that clear for peep's sake. Now, the need and the fit when it comes to LeBron James. Look, LeBron James, just stay true to who you are, right? Because everybody want me to accept you for who you are. So guess what? Stay true to who you are, which is bandwagon. Hopping on the bandwagon. Stay true to who you are, Mr. LeBron James. All right, people call you the GOAT. Yeah, okay. You know what the GOAT stand for when it comes to LeBron James? Going to another team. That's what the GOAT stand for LeBron James. So guess what? Go to another team. Hop on the bandwagon. Do what you do. And you know what? I won't even be mad. At this stage of your career, 41 years old, hey, what the heck? You might as well do it. Go to the New York Knicks.
Oh, no, definitely.
Go to the New York Knicks.
Definitely not.
All right, look, at age 41, and I'll accept LeBron James. All right, maybe if LeBron James come to New York, which he should have done in 2010, maybe I might open up to LeBron James. Okay, I just might, because when you look at it from a basketball perspective, at age 41, LeBron James does not want to go to a situation where a team is going to rely on him to play all 82 games. He shouldn't, especially if you want to defeat Father Time. So the deeper the team, the better the situation for LeBron James. And look, Josh Hart could easily go to the bench and let Bron rock out. I think the Knicks make sense. Obviously, if he want to compete for a championship, he never played in New York. One thing about Bron, he loves big markets. If it's not Cleveland, he loved big markets. That's why he went to Miami. That's why he went to LA. You might as well go to New York. Again, stay true to who you are. Go to the New York Knicks. He needs to make that move. Now, if we talk about best fit, I'm starting to think that might be the Timberwolves. They need a power forward. They need a power forward. They have a glaring need for a power forward. He could easily slot in there. Rudy Gobert and McDaniel is arguably two of the best defenders in the NBA right now. And to have LeBron James on that team means that he doesn't have to impact the game defensively. He could just do his thing offensively. And then he can mentor Anthony Edwards and play with Anthony Edwards and get him up to that next level. And you already have LaMelo Ball that's going to make things easier for LeBron James. Obviously, you can see the court very well. I think for me, the need, the Knicks, he should. And the fit, I'll go with the Timberwolves.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say the Knicks anyway. I don't see that. And I don't think that'd be great for him.
I think that's a very good move. I mean, because think about it. Think about the Knicks, though. Think about the Knicks.
Well,
The
no,
only ball handler
if he
that we
went to
have,
the Knicks, it wouldn't be a bad thing for
yeah,
him.
because think about it. The only ball handler that we do have is Jalen Brunson. OG, is 3-and-D. Mikel's 3-and-D. There's nobody that's going to take away the ball from Bron. Cat can space the floor. So it makes sense. He could literally fit in the Knicks.
Well, he can fit. LeBron can fit any place in the Knicks. I just don't. I certainly don't see that as a possibility for him. The Philly thing is intriguing to me. The Philly thing is intriguing. I don't think he's going to go, but the Philly fit, as they reported today, would be a great fit for him as well. But look, man, if I'm talking to LeBron, we sitting down having a drink. LeBron, go to San Antonio, man. Tell the Spurs you're going to come there, lead them. You can pay 25 to 28 minutes a game. You got all them young dogs. You can get your body right. He's always in shape. So you'll be ready for the playoffs, and you can lead those guys to a championship, man. And what a great way to go out. But, I agree with Ray. Go home, man. Go home. Be at Cleveland. I think it's the best. It would be, if LeBron went back to Cleveland, it would be the greatest story in basketball history. In professional basketball history, it would be the greatest story, hands down, in basketball history. He's not I don't believe LeBron is a GOAT, but he would have had the greatest story of any
if he wins the championship
of all time.
If he wins the championship in Cleveland again.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a different conversation.
Of course, the championship matters.
That's a different conversation.
Now, of course, the championship matters. Now, a deep run in the playoff matters. The championship, yeah. I'm saying if he went to Cleveland, they have a very good chance to represent the East in the finals.
We'll see. But we'll see what happens with LeBron James. Again, he's going to be the last domino to fall. I expect nothing less. LeBron James wanted to be about him. So guess what? LeBron James is going to be about you. Everybody's looking to see what you're going to do. You are the last domino to fall, just like you like it, brother.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only, The Real Lil on The Real Lil Show.
Anyway, we are going to move on, and we're going to talk about the Lakers, who just lost LeBron James. All right, we're going to end off the show with this topic for time purposes. Stephen A. Smith came out and talked about the Lakers building around 3 white dudes, and it sparked a debate of, is building around 3 white dudes the right formula for success? And I'm going to play that clip from Stephen A. Smith. And then we are going to attack this question in the way we normally do, which is straight and real. Let's hear from Stephen A.
I just got to say it, y'all. Where the hell the Los Angeles Lakers think they're going with a bunch of white dudes? Somebody had to say it, so I'm saying it. Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. And we got a whole bunch of brothers on Team USA. What y'all think this is? It's basketball.
Slow news day, huh, Stephen A? Slow news day. Slow news cycle. Nothing going on in sports right now. No NBA. The NBA is quiet. Nothing is going on in the NBA. Right? Oh, don't get me started with the NBA. It's trash. The NFL is dead, right? Slow news day. I get it, Stephen A. I get it. Anyway, Lee, I'm going to pass over the mic to you. Is the Lakers building around 3 white dudes the right formula for success? The mic is yours.
So I'm gonna go back in time so people can understand that where I'm coming from. I'm not so much concerned about 3 white dudes per se. It's the caliber of the white dudes that I'm more concerned about. The Boston Celtics won a championship with Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Danny Ainge as really the primary 3 superstars on that team. Stephen A. forgot about that. I didn't. I'm a historian of the sport. So, McHale was there, but Ainge, when he initially got there, his long distance 3-point shooting, McHale and Bird, those were 3 white dudes that won a championship. So, Stephen A., you need to, go back, study your history a little bit. But let me say this. The 3 white dudes that the Lakers have right now is not going to work. That's the whole thing. It's who they have. Look, Luka, one of the best scorers in NBA. I like that. Luka, one of the best scorers in the world. Period. He's one of the best scorers. Austin Reeves can ball his head off. He can ball his head off from an offensive perspective. But you can't have, and they say they got Walker Kessler to protect the rim. Look, man. What's going to happen is they're going to get blown by so much that Walker Kessler is going to be in foul trouble before he knows it. You cannot have those defensive liabilities on the court at all times and thinking that you're going to outscore teams, because that's what they're going to have to do. So, no, you're not going to win with these 3 guys as your primary dudes on the team. No, absolutely not. So the notion that can you win with 3 white guys, hey, if you give me the autonomy to pick the 3 white guys, I can win with them. But if you tell me you're going to give me these 3 that they have, absolutely not. The Lakers are in trouble. And the one thing that you'll see very quickly on the Lakers season next year, Lil, is the shine will go off on them. You'll quickly hear the Laker fans turn on them. You'll quickly see some of those seats to be empty where they used to be filled when it comes down to January, February, and those areas. That's going to be a problem. And so I agree with you, Ray. I don't think he deserved a max, but they gave it to him. So they're stuck with him now. They're stuck with Walker Kessler. Luka can get out in 2 years, and don't be surprised if Luka try to leave. Look, the Lakers should have went out and did everything they could to move heaven and earth to get Kyrie Irving, and I would have gotten Jalen Duren. You thought that Duren is a bona fide scorer. He had one bad playoff series, and people gave up on him. The man was an all-star, and he was all NBA. So, no, they can't win with this iteration of the 3 white dudes, but doesn't mean that you can't win with them. Remember this: Bird, McHale, and Danny Ainge, 3 white dudes.
I want to start off from the basketball perspective before I get into the more controversial side of this topic, because the Lakers spending spree that they are on right now, post LeBron James, it really reminds me of the spending that Bill Belichick went on the offseason that they lost Tom Brady.
Great point, Leo. Great point.
Because remember when Brady left the Pats, Belichick in 2021 during that offseason, he spent the record of $163 million in free agency.
Picked all the wrong people.
Yep. He signed guys like Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, moves that, okay, yeah, sure, you may have gotten a little bit better, but didn't move the needle. Significantly. And we obviously know how that season ended. And I look at the Lakers in the same way. Post LeBron James, just like Brady losing a great player, they making all these moves, right? So they think they spending $400 million post LeBron James. They signing Walker Kessler to a 4-year, $130 million deal. The guy's not even close to an all-star. They giving Quentin Grimes $60 million, I believe. Austin Reeves just got a max. And they spending all this money. But you know what? It doesn't pass the eye test. And I believe it's going to be a similar situation to that Patriots team, which is a mediocre basketball team. Yeah, sure, playoff team. Obviously Luka Doncic is still a great player. He's probably going to get them to the playoffs. But championship contention, clearly the Spurs, clearly the Thunder on 2 different stratospheres, and clearly I believe the Timberwolves is on a different stratosphere.
The Rockets have improved immensely with Van Vliet coming back,
and the Rockets should be better than the Lakers as well.
They got Bogdanovich as a shooter, a 3-point shooter to help out. So yeah, there's a lot of teams that have improved over.
Now I do think that they did fill the void at center. They do have a defensive anchor around Luka Doncic and Reeves, one of the better rim protectors in the NBA when healthy. But like you said, if he's in foul trouble, which he's probably going to be because there's going to be a lot of pressure on him because they don't have that elite wing stopper.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now he's going to get in foul trouble,
Absolutely.
and now you might eliminate him from the ball game. Now, obviously, you do look at the flip side to that. Luka does have a history of making bigs better. I mean, he had Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively looking like all-stars on that team that he led to the finals. And
but Lil, let me stop you right there. They were athletic.
Yeah,
athletic, freakish,
especially Derek Lively
centers, especially Lively, but Gafford was as well. Kessler is big at 7'2". I wouldn't necessarily say an athletic freak. So you're throwing the ball up. So I don't know how much better
and to me,
you'll make it.
They probably could have did better with Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson, or certainly Duran. Certainly Duran. That's what
obviously Duran, but if they couldn't get Duran, then they should have signed Mitchell Robinson. I mean, that would have been better. That would have been cheaper. You would have not have forged your assets. It probably would have worked better because he is athletic. He is that rim runner, and he could actually switch. He could switch on a ball handler as well. So to me, yeah, the Lakers did a whole lot of nothing. They spent a whole lot of money and did a whole lot of nothing with it. And Lee, I always say this: when I spend a lot of money, I want to make sure I'm getting value back in what I'm spending. One of my best investments that I've ever made in my life was investing into a MacBook Pro, because when I do my podcast, when I do everything, it makes everything quicker. It gave me a return on investment. I don't think the Lakers are going to get that return on investment with the money that they spent. And now I do want to address the comments that Stephen A made on a slow news cycle. Nothing going on in the NBA. No trades, no nothing. Stephen A coming out and making it about white boys. Now, look, I understand the theory, the saying that white man can't jump. Obviously, for comedy purposes, we see that fly in the background. But in all seriousness, this is not anything about that. It's about roster construction. Now, look, I mentioned the Patriots before. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was a coach, obviously. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Chris Hogan, right? Julian Edelman. They won a Super Bowl in the National Football League in a dominant sport in which they were white people. They were white athletes, and they won, right? So this notion, and I get it, black people have a different type of genetics. When you talk about, when you really want to get deep about it, sure, I get it. But in today's NBA, it's a totally different game. This game is more about skill than it is about physicality. And to me, skill favors white people more than a physical sport, which is why in the WNBA, per se, which is more physical, you see a lot of black women dominate. Obviously, Caitlin Clark, very good basketball player, but not as dominant as she was in college because the sport is more physical. And when you talk about genetically, obviously black women are more, genetically imposing. So they're imposing their will on her, obviously with a lot of activities that I think is excessive. But at the same time, there is a level and element of physicality to that sport that I think there's a difference there. So, Luka has a lot of skill, and skill can survive, right? Now, when you talk about Stephen A's comments more directly, and this is where I want to hit at. If it was the other way around, in a sport like hockey or golf or whatever, even though golf is an individual sport rather than a team sport, right? Let's say tennis, because sometimes you have double matches and whatever. Oh, they have two black guys, in a double match. Oh, yeah. Where are they going with two black guys in a double tennis match? Or hockey, right? They have an all-black team. Where they think they're going? I think the media would have perceived that a totally different way. And that's why we all know that everybody have their privileges as a race. White privilege is a thing. When it comes to workforce in corporate America, yeah, let's be honest. White people dominate that. They have a privilege there. When you talk about movies, entertainment, hip-hop, there's a Jew privilege there, right? The gateway through hip-hop and movies is Jewish people. We are speaking facts here on the Real Lil Show. But the privilege that we have when it comes to black people, and the only privilege that I know of that we do have, is a privilege that we can make comments like what Stephen A made and there's no repercussions for it.
Well, for him, it's not, Leo. That's the thing. Stephen A. Said that because he feels he's reached a level in broadcast journalism or broadcast entertainment, I would say, that he can say whatever he wants. He has his own media outlet, and he can say what he wants. That was tasteless because it really didn't matter, right? We're not talking about black and white. To your point, we're talking about roster construction. You let me pick 3 white boys in the NBA, I can win with them. You just got to give me the right ones, right? Talent as your primary 3 we're talking about. So that, to me, that doesn't move the needle with me. It's just another example of a guy who think he can say and do anything with no substance behind it, because I just named you the Boston Celtics.
I mean, but that's his delivery, though. His delivery is not a delivery with substance, unfortunately. Yeah. And we see that a lot of the times, not only with him, to pick on him, but other media pundits as well. Look, I think the Lakers, and going back to that roster construction, and this is where I want to end it off, they did address the need at center, and I give them that. But they don't have that marquee wing, that 3-and-D guy that can lock up an opposing offensive player, that Mikal Bridges, that OG Anunoby, that Drew Holiday. They missing that. And for me, those are the hardest players to acquire in the NBA because they offer so much value. You look at the last couple title holders, they all had elite wings. That's why the Knicks invested into them. Like, they invested into 2 of them, right? By trading the 5 first-rounders and giving OG Anunoby the contract and trading for him. So, again, they're missing that. And I think because Luka and Austin Reeves is poor defenders, with all that pace and space in the modern game, it puts a toll on your body, which is why a lot of injuries exist in the NBA. And now you're relying solely on Kessler defensively with his rim protection to be the defensive anchor for that team. And to me, that only means negative things. That means injuries. That means foul trouble and less minutes. And that's why I think, now that you forego your trade assets, how are you going to get that elite wing that you need? Because, again, they are premium. They are hard to get because they offer so much value. You got to trade picks. Mikal Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. There's picks to get those type of guys, and they don't have the assets to be able to get those type of guys. So, to me, in the end here, yeah, white boys can hoop, just like, obviously, the sport is dominated by African Americans, but it all comes down to roster construction. Absolutely. If you want to win with 3 white guys, it got to be the right white guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Last thing I'll say, the Lakers, Cullen Sexton, journeyman. Quentin Grimes, journeyman. The boy from Toronto that they got, he's a decent, he was a backup in Toronto, decent player, but liability defensively as well. The Lakers are in trouble, Leo. The Lakers are in big trouble.
And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another episode of The Real Lil Show. Another fire episode. I have fun here. Support new media, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. We out. Peace. Oh, and happy 4th of July. Okay? Peace out.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only The Real Lil on The Real Lil Show.